Councillor from Feltham North and Overview and Scrutiny Committee member.
Thank you. And last but not least, Councillor Mashisho.
Hello, Councillor Mshiso. Been on Overview and Scrutiny since 2018 as well, representing Fenham Green in Chiswick. Thank you.
Okay. We also, just for your information, we do have officers here supporting Scrutiny and also providing, in a production role for any technical issues. So I would just like to also actually just sort of give you a few little details about what I'm hoping this year. I will read it out. I've written myself an email, so I hope it makes sense to all of you. The last municipal year, 2021, has been quite like no other, and hopefully one we will never see again. We are all aware that committees, panels, council meetings were not able to function as normal and run as effectively as BC, which obviously means before COVID as opposed to before Christ. This year we are a new committee, and realistically it seems that we all have to look at things and scrutinise them in a way that we've not had to do so before. However, this does not mean at all that some of last year's work will not continue, but it will just, in fact, just roll on. Some of the examples that I've got in mind are the council tax support scheme and the C9 street space. I feel that some of these roll-ons will present us, well, the whole committee, with an opportunity to better define and articulate this. The other thing is, for me, the job of the OSC says it in the job title, that is to scrutinise. One thing I do feel strongly about is that we are not here to attack the Cabinet and the decisions as a pack of baying dogs, but actually to comprehend, scrutinise, question and hopefully make meaningful recommendations. I would really like to think that we work along with and complement the Cabinet. There have been occasions where the Cabinet and the OSC have been doing almost duplicate work programmes, which is pointless and a waste of time, which is why I think it is key to work along with them. This is an example of a pitfall that I would like us to avoid next year. Another thing that I have thought about is that a lot of the backbenchers are unaware, through no fault of their own, mind you, of what the Cabinet are actually doing and what decisions have been made. So I would like to think of us as almost a bridge, if you like, between us and the backbenchers. In the same vein, and I would like to stress this, I would like to say that although we are a cross-party committee, I understand that the Conservative councillors here very much work for their residents and always put them first. I'm hoping that we will all be able to work in a cohesive and harmonious way to ensure the very best for all of our residents. I'm just sort of going to give you a few details about the 16th. On the 16th of this month, there will be an informal virtual workshop where we will decide on the 2021 to 22 overview and scrutiny committee work programmes and deep dives. At the beginning, about a couple of weeks ago, I did speak to the officers, actually Councillor Bidoff, that this may interest you, saying that I would like to have done this workshop at Hounslow House. Because like you, I believe that it's sort of more conducive to sort of, getting to grips with everything and really sort of, just working out what really needs to be looked into. Due to the circumstances, it's just not possible at the moment, but let's hope that, July onwards or something, we are able to do that. I'm sure all of you received an email asking for any suggestions about what we should be looking at in terms of work programmes. These were then put into a long list. And what I'd like you all to know is that these were then compiled into a short list after considering various points. One, it was impact. For example, will it add value and deliver impact for all of our local residents? Two, priority. Does it support the council priorities as set out in our corporate plan? I have concern and opportunity. Does it relate to a poor or unperforming service, for example, or does it give rise to numerous complaints? various things of that nature. Another one that I think is extremely important is feasible. I quite often people sort of have all these ideas and these work plans and work programs, but I think we really do have to be mindful of the time frame. And also what type of plans or work programs are we looking at? Are we looking at a deep dive? Are we looking at a one-off report? So I think those are lots of points that were considered. Before the 16th, you will all receive a long list, and that allows all of you to consider and sort of muse over what you think are really important or key points for you. The other thing that has been, or that I thought about this year, is that I have invited already all the cabinet members to come along on the 16th and give us a brief update of what they have done and what they plan for the next year. And I think that was really, really important, because I think it then allows us to decide on the topics. What I'm just going to say is, personally, I'm very, very interested in inequality in the different wards in the borough and how we can lessen them. And generally, that's always been the case, but I think definitely even more so. One thing I do believe is that the pandemic and the lockdowns must surely have highlighted these inequalities more so, particularly for me anyway, that I'm interested in areas of education and access to resources. So those just are some of my thoughts for you. Is that okay with everybody? Any problems so far? Okay.
Sounds good, Chair.
I think,
All good.
sorry,
Okay.
I'm just to say, sorry, Danish, I'm sorry if I've missed an email, but this all needs to be looked at in the context of the shortlist, doesn't it? And if I've missed an email with a shortlist, I don't know what's on it.
Okay, well, everything will be sent out again in the next day or two. So, I mean, this is I just wanted all of you to know that this is what we will be doing on the 16th. So I will make sure that, well, I'm sure you will receive the email.
Yes, it's just trying to tie in those points with the shortlist. It's hard to make a judgment on what you're saying.
No, absolutely, Joanna. Councillor. Sorry, I was going to call you Joanna. I can't slip it off.
Joanna is absolutely fine by me, so don't worry.
Okay. What I would just like to remind everybody tonight, I mean, tonight really is a very short meeting, simply because that everything being considered tonight, well, everything can be found on the council website under the OSE meetings page, and that is really for members of the public. Well, if any, so I know Councillor Bidoff, you haven't received something, so that's good to, I'll note that down. Are there any other issues at the moment? Okay. Oh yeah, I did forget to mention, and I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, so remiss of me, is that if anybody has any problems, technical issues whatsoever, and you need to log out, please let us know, or me know, or somebody know immediately, so that we can get that sorted, and we'll give everybody a 15-minute break to get that all sorted. Okay. We have had one apology, and I believe that's from Councillor Akanzada. Nothing else? Okay. The other thing I would like to confirm is that we are all quorum. All good? Okay. And I would like to ask, does anybody have any declarations of interest or any sort of communications? No?
Perhaps me, just to declare that I'm a foster care in-house with London Borough Council, just to make everyone aware.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. Right, so now we're going to come to the appointment of the Overview and Scrutiny Chair and the Overview and Scrutiny Committee panel chairs. Now, I've been the lucky one. I'm allowed to choose. So I'm hoping you're all going to agree to my recommendations. For my vice chair, I've asked, actually, and he has accepted Councillor Richard Foote. And for children and young people, I have asked Councillor Adriana, who has also accepted. For health and adult care, Councillor Gumel Lal. And for housing and environment, I have asked Councillor Cormal Chowdhury. Okay, So I'm going to put those nominations forward to the committee, and I'm hoping that you will all agree to those. Any disagreements?
So, Chair, can I just quickly clarify for you?
Yes.
What members are agreeing to is the recommendation of how they would be minded to vote. So the actual appointment will be made after the meeting following the council's urgency procedure.
Okay.
But today they are agreeing the recommendations and how they would have been minded to vote.
Okay.
So, if we could get somebody to propose moving forward with your recommendation and somebody to second it, and then a vote.
That'll do. Yeah. No, yeah.
That's okay with you, Tony, yes?
Obviously.
Chair, I'll second it.
Thank you very much. I can see the heat's getting to you, Councillor Lukey.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Okay.
I work in any conditions, you see.
Yes, a hard man.
Most prolific.
Okay. Well, as you realise, this is a tiny short meeting. It's just an introduction. Before I ask if there are, I would like to know if anybody feels that there's any matters that they consider urgent, or they would like to ask any questions or make any comments. I'm quite happy for that to happen now. We're all good to go. Okay. So as I say, I just want to give you a quick reminder that on the 16th, it will be a virtual workshop. You will have received the list before then, and I'm really hoping that on that day we can sort of all come to some sorts of agreements, about what we all really think is really key. And as I say, I think, again, for me personally, I think we all need to be very, very mindful of the fact that we need to be realistic about what can be possibly achieved. So I'm hoping we can have a great brainstorming session, and debate or consensus would be great. So just to confirm, the meeting will be on the 16th, and that will be at 5:30. Okay. So if there is nothing else, I'm going to close the meeting, which has been extremely quickly. I'd like to thank all of you anyway for taking part. And Ron, are you okay? You're looking a little bit perplexed there.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, thanks for your comments, by the way. Really good. I mean, you know, the last couple of years have been quite tough for Scrutiny, and that's because I believe, in my opinion, that the cabinet has not worked with Scrutiny. And but if you are saying that there is a new leaf turning of the page,
yeah,
fine, because our job is to scrutinize. And
absolutely, absolutely. As I said, it's just, you know, I didn't want anything to be sort of turning into an us versus them. You know, as I say, we're all here for a specific purpose, and I really hope that we can all work perfectly well together. And as I say, I think it's very important for us, all of us, before we can make any relevant decisions, is to all be able to talk or listen to what the cabinet have to say, and then we can make informed choices. So I hope that's agreeable to you all.
I agree with that, Chair, but I would also say that to back you up, is that we really do need to hold the cabinet to account when things do crop up. And the cabinet needs to respect scrutiny. And I'm sure the officers have told you that before. And I think where we've gone a little bit amiss is there's been a lack of respect between cabinet and scrutiny. And I'm fully confident that you will you get that right. And I think if we get that right and we work together, yes, I can see things changing and things happening.
Well, I think we've got to realise that we need to be working alongside the cabinet. You know, we complement each other. You know, and you know, that's what I said. I don't want anybody attacking each other like a pack of dogs. You know, you know, we are here to get some work done and something meaningful done. So if that's all, I'd like to bid you all good night.
I think the critical situation in the current year, Chair, is
absolutely
the fact that it's a very short year.
Yes.
You know, because of being pushed in at either end, and that there's a lot of work to be done, but it's got to be done in a very concentrated time.
Yes.
So there's a lot of discipline that needs to be felt by all of us in order to get this through, because it would be a terrible thing to reach the end of the year and find out that we're still items outstanding.
Well, as I say, Richard and I have already talked about this, and we were both sort of emphatic about that we just didn't want to sort of waste time. We want something done, so, or something meaningful achieved. So best of luck to us all. Thank you all for attending. Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much, Chair.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.